பூஜ்ஜத்தை பூஜ்ஜத்தால் வகுத்தா ஈவு ஒன்னு வருமா சார்? பூஜை மாம்பழத்தை பூஜ்ஜம் பேருக்கு கொடுத்தா ஒவ்வொருத்தருக்கும் ஒரு மாம்பழம் கிடைக்குமா சார்?
Good morning to all. Today, 22nd December is celebrated as the birthday of Srinivasa Ramanujan, one of India's greatest mathematical geniuses. Imagine someone mastering trigonometry at the age of 13, solving infinite series at the age of 14, and inventing new ways of solving higher order mathematical equations by the age of 15. And all these without any formal training in mathematics. That someone is none other than Srinivasa Ramanujan, the man who knew infinity. Usually we celebrate this day with mathematical quiz, exhibition, etc. But due to this pandemic situation, let us limit our celebrations virtually. First of all, watch the video describing the life story of Ramanujan prepared by Nasrin Ansari and Nikhil S of class 12B.
Srinivasa Ramanujan was a famous Indian mathematician born on 22nd December 1887 in Erode, Tamil Nadu. He had made a lot of famous contributions in the field of mathematics. He is famous for his work on elliptic functions and infinite series. Today, we are going to look at his magic square, which is a simple yet an intelligent and interesting work by Srinivasa Ramanujan.
Magic Square by Srinivasa Ramanujan. This is the picture of the magic square made by him. On first sight, it may appear to you as a simple 4 into 4 square with some random digits, but it isn't. The square has a lot of specialities. Before coming to the specialities, let us find out how he actually made the square. First, consider the top portion, that is, the top row of the square. Do you find anything particular with the numbers? Well, I will provide you with a little more details in the diagram. Now can you make out something? Yes, it is the birth date of Srinivasa Ramanujan, 22/12/1887. And it is noted that here the year 1887 is split across two cells. These numbers are the fundamental building blocks of the whole square. Now, before proceeding, we will have to consider another square called the magic null square. This is the magic null square, and it is special that the numbers are arranged in it in such a way that the sum of a row gives the value 0. The next step is to keep it beside our real square, and soon we will be relating it. So now in the left side we have our magic square, and now we also know the digits in the first row. Now let's rub the other columns of our magic square so that we can proceed with finding the other numbers. In the second row, we fill it in the reverse order of the first. Now we move to the third row. As we see now, it is arranged in such a way that the first number of the first row is placed in the second place of third row, and the second number of the first row goes to the first place of the third row. Similarly, the third goes to the fourth place and the fourth to the third place. Now, as we move to the fourth row, the first and second numbers of first row occupies the third and fourth place of the fourth row respectively, and the numbers from third and fourth numbers of the first row occupies the first and second places of the fourth row respectively. Now, we are going to relate the square we got with the null square. Here it is really simple. You need to simply add the numbers of each of the respective places, the two squares, as we can see here. Remember that while you add a number to another with a negative, that is a minus sign, you simply need to subtract them. For example, 18 plus minus 1 is equal to 18 minus 1, which is equal to 17. After the calculations, the square you obtain is our magic square. There is no change in the top row since we added each of them to zeros. Now let's see what is the interesting part of the square. Consider each numbers of a single row. Now add those. I will help you with the first one. Let us consider the first row. Numbers are 22, 12, 18 and 87. Now when we do 22 plus 12 plus 18 plus 87, you will get the sum 139. We will get the same 139 when you add each of the other rows numbers too. Now let us consider the columns. Sum up the numbers of each column. You will again get 139 as the result. Now let us consider each of the diagonals of the square. While we add the numbers of each diagonal too, we will obtain 139 as the result. Next, consider the corners of the square. When we take the sum of all 4 corners too, we will get 139 as the result. Wait, it doesn't end here. Again, consider the middle 2 into 2 square. Their sum too is 139. After we consider each of the 4 2 into 2 squares which make this large square. Each of the 2 into 2 squares sum also is 139. Next, consider the opposite edges of the square except the corners. We have a pair of them in all squares. So, sum of each of the opposite edges except the corners of the square is 139. Next, consider the opposite vertical and horizontal cells next to each of the opposite corners. If you find each of their sum too, it is 139. That's all were the specialities of the square. Wasn't that interesting?
And another interesting fact is that he had made it at the age of 8. From this, we can understand how genius he was. He had lived a very short life. Otherwise, we could have got a lot more contributions in the field of mathematics. In my opinion, all of us should be inspired by him and make new interesting findings experimenting with maths. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Irene Jose. I am studying in 6H. I am here to introduce a very famous mathematician, Srinivasan Ramanujan, an Indian mathematician who was a great genius in exploring mathematics. He was born in December 2nd, 1887 at Erode in Tamil Nadu. His urge to mathematics started very earlier. At the age of 15, he obtained a copy of synopsis of elementary results in pure and applied mathematics, whose proofs of theorems were presented by him very briefly. He published his first paper in Journal of Indian Mathematical Society in 1914. He travelled to England to meet R.D. His work on elliptic integrals, hypergeometric series, functional equations on zeta function are worth saying. His work on partition of numbers is expressed below. Every positive number can be expressed as sum of positive numbers in number of ways. That is, 4 can be expressed as 3 plus 1 and also can be expressed as 2 plus 2 and also expressed as 2 plus 1 plus 1 and also expressed as 1 plus 1 plus 1. This genius Ramanujan left the world in 1919, remaining behind many of his unpublished works. Thank you.
Good morning. I I'm Ashley of class 6H. Saffron robes, a vermilion mark delicately painted on the forehead, a string of beads around the neck, and a finger pointed to the sky. This is not the image that comes to our mind when we think of a mathematician. Today's story is about Aryabhatta, a great mathematician who was a pioneer in bringing a change in the field of mathematics. Aryabhatta was born during the Gupta age around 476 AD, which is also considered as the golden age of mathematics and ancient Indian learning. He was only about 23 to 24 years old when he composed his most distinguished work known, the Aryabhatiya. Zero was Aryabhatta's most significant contribution to mankind. The aspects of mathematics that he worked upon is arithmetic, algebra, quadratic equation, trigonometry, and sine table. He gave the formula a plus b the whole square. He also calculated the value of pi. He was essentially responsible for the birth of modern trigonometry. In fact, name sign and cosines are transcriptions introduced by Aryabhatta. It is really astonishing to think that one man was responsible for so many of the mathematical instruments we use. Aryabhatta, a man beyond his years. Thank you and have a nice day.
Good morning all. Do you know who invented zero? He was a great scientist who made many contributions to both mathematics and astronomy. Yes, today I am going to introduce you to the great ancient Indian mathematician Aryabhatta. He was the first of the major mathematicians and astronomers of the classical age of Indian mathematics and astronomy. His works include the Aryabhatiya and the Aryasiddhanta. Let us look into the details. As you well might have noticed, there is a tendency to misspell his name Aryabhatta. His name is properly spelled Aryabhatta. Aryabhatta was born in 476 AD in Padaliputra, present-day Patna in Bihar, as the son of Sri Bandhu Bapu and Srimati Hansabai Bandhu. He expired in 550 CE. Let's look through his education. It's fairly certain that he completed his advanced studies in Kusumapura and was the head of the Nalanda University as well. His works. Aryabhatta is the author of several treatises in mathematics and astronomy, some of which are lost. His major work, the Aryabhatiya, a combination of mathematics and astronomy, referred to Indian mathematical literature, survived to modern times. The Aryabhatiya is also remarkable for its explanation of the relativity of motion. The mathematical part of Aryabhatiya includes plane, trigonometry, special trigonometry, arithmetic, and algebra. Aryabhatta's innovations and works includes the place value system, the innovation of zero, the approximation of pi, the summation of squares, cubes, triangles, etc. It also includes the a plus b the whole square formula. His works were later explained by his disciples Barahamihara and Bhaskara. Let us look how the modern world remembers this great mathematician. Aryabhatta's works not only influenced India but several neighboring countries through translation. The lunar crater and India's first satellite are both named Aryabhatta in his honor. Aryabhatta's contributions were widely used in Arabic countries and Islamic culture. Calendric calculations devised by Aryabhatta and his followers were continuously used in India for fixing the Panchangam, the Hindu calendar. Aryabhatta Knowledge University, AKU, in Patna, Bihar, was established by the government of Bihar in his honor. Aryabhatta Research Institute for Observational Science, ADS, in Nainital is conducting research in astronomy. All Indians can be proud of this great mathematician. I hereby conclude my presentation. Hope all of you enjoyed. Stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you.
A mathematician is a person who has vast knowledge about mathematics and uses it as a tool to solve many problems around us. Hello, my name is Manikanu and I am here to speak a few words on the topic, a famous mathematician, and the mathematician that I am going to talk about is none other than the famous Swiss mathematician Archimedes. Archimedes was born on 280 BC in Italy. He started his education in an ancient museum in Alexandria, Egypt, where he studied physics, mathematics, and astronomy. He discovered hydrostatics, which is popularly known as Archimedes' principle. An interesting story behind the discovery involves King Cyrus entrusting Archimedes to actually prove if the newly made crown was actually made up of pure gold as a goldsmith claimed. By observing the displacement of water while immersing himself in his bathtub, Archimedes solved the riddle and also proved that there was a little bit amount of silver mixed into the gold which was used for making the crown. He earned the title Father of Mathematics due to his great and wonderful inventions. He is also a great role model for all the present-day mathematicians. There are also many other great mathematicians like Archimedes, including Leonard Euler, Aryabhatta, and Srinivasa Ramanujan, who are also famous for their wonderful inventions. Thank you and have a nice day.
Hi everyone, my name is Ramanujan from 5G. I am here to introduce the very famous mathematician called Pythagoras. He is a great mathematician born in 569 BC. He believed that all things are numbers. Max is the base of the everything, and geometry is the highest form of it. His famous Pythagorean theorem is very important. Pythagoras theorem: base, altitude, hypotenuse in a right angle triangle. B square plus A square is equal to S square. He also studied odd and even numbers. Triangle numbers and perfect numbers. He's interested in music related with maths. He realized that the strings are in it ratioed. Two is to 1, 3 is to 2, 4 is to 3. Report of his death is indeed varied. His Pythagorean theorem is a cornerstone of mathematics and continuation to be so interesting to other mathematicians. Thank you.
Hi, Krishnan of class 6F, presenting us about a famous mathematician by name Eratosthenes. Eratosthenes was born on BC 276 at Cyrene. He died on BC 195 at Alexandria. He was a Greek mathematician. He was a scholar, a poet, and an inventor. He was known for Sieve of Eratosthenes and founder of geography. He is known for being the first person to calculate the circumference of the earth. He was the chief librarian at the Library of Alexandria. The sieve of Eratosthenes method was developed by Eratosthenes for finding out prime and composite numbers. The steps involved in this method are as follows. List all the numbers from 2 to 100 as 1 is neither prime nor composite. Step 1. Encircle 2 and cross out all the multiples of 2 other than 2. Step 2. Encircle 3 and cross out all the multiples of 3 other than 3. Step 3. Encircle 5 and cross out all the multiples of 5 other than 5. Step 4. Continue this process till all the numbers in the list are encircled or crossed out, as shown in the below image. This process is endless because there is no last prime number. This method is also very helpful in mathematical calculations. And in this image shown here, the green shade represents prime numbers and pink color represents composite numbers. And that's all. Thank you.
Good morning teachers and my dear friends. My name is Ambika Krishna and I am from class 6E. Today I am going to be talking about the famous mathematician Raj Chandra Bose. Shri Raj Chandra Bose was born on 19th June 1901. He was an Indian-American mathematician and statistician best known for his works in design theory, finite geometry and error-correcting codes in which the BCH codes is named partly after him. He also invented the notion of partial geometry, association scheme, strongly regular graph and systematic study of different sets to construct symmetric block designs. He was also notable for his work along with S.S. Srikhande and E.T. Parker in their disproof for the famous conjecture by Leonard Euler dated 1782 that there do not exist two mutually orthogonal Latin squares by order 4n plus 2 for every n. Academic life. Bose's course changed on December 1932 when P.C. Mahalanobis, the director of the new Indian Statistical Institute, had offered Bose a part-time job. Mahalanobis had seen Bose's geometrical work and wanted him to work on statistics. The day after Bose moved in, the secretary had given him all the volumes of Biometrica with 50 papers to read and Fisher's statistical method for research workers. Later on, he became the chief mathematician of the institute. Sadly, Shri Raj Chandra Bose passed away in Colorado, aged 86 on 1987. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Aradinaya and I'm from 6F. And today I'm going to describe about the amazing work of Euclid, a great mathematician. Euclid was born on 330 BC at Alexandria, but the date was unknown. Almost nothing is known of his life, and no likeness or first-hand description of his physical appearance has survived antiquity, and so depositions of him in works of art are necessarily the products of the artist's imagination. He was known as the father of geometry. He is the one and only person who invented geometry, which is the basics of mathematics. Euclid's vital contribution was to gather, compile, organize, and rework the mathematical concepts of his predecessors into a consistent whole, later to become known as Euclidean geometry. He wrote perhaps the most important and successful mathematical textbook of all time, like the Elements, which represents the culmination of the mathematical revolution which had taken place in Greece up to that time. In the Elements, Euclid deduced the theorems of what is now called Euclidean geometry from a small set of axioms. Euclid also wrote works on perspective, conic sections, spherical geometry, number theory, and mathematical rigor. I hope you like my speech, and thank you all for listening. Bye.
Good afternoon. Today I am going to talk about a great mathematician of ancient India, Madhavan Namboothiri. Was an Indian mathematician and astronomer from the town believed to be present in Alur, Iringalkuda, in Thrissur district, Kerala, India. He is considered to be the founder of the Kerala School of Astronomy and Mathematics. He made a contribution to the study of infinite series, calculus, trigonometry, geometry, and algebra. Some schools have suggested that Madhav's work was transmitted to Europe via Jesuit missionaries and traders who were active around the ancient part of Mizis at that time. As a result, it may have had an influence on Labour's European developments in analysis and calculus. Thank you.
I am Alan James, studying in class 6F. Math, it's one of the subjects that some like, others hate. Many of you may still have nightmares of attending a maths test unprepared. Yes, it's true that maths is an abstract subject without a good teacher to guide you. Luckily, I have many good maths teachers. We have a rich history of brilliant mathematicians, among which I am going to discuss about Sir Isaac Newton, one of the great mathematicians and physicists in the world. Newton was born on Christmas Day. His focus was mainly on calculus, physics, and three laws of motion. Among his contribution to mathematics, infinitesimal calculus was a major breakthrough. The language of calculus was later used for Newton's three laws of motion. His work was published as Philosophiae Naturalis Principia Mathematica, which had 2 volumes. Volume 1, The Motion of Bodies. Volume 2, The System of the World. In calculus, he described how objects change along space and time. Newton was named as Lucasian Professor of Mathematics in 1669. Newton had no children and was not married. He passed away in 1727. I greatly admire these mathematicians without whom we will not be able to enjoy this world. Thank you.
Good morning everybody. I am Nandana DJ from class 6F, Nagar Central School. Today I am going to say about the famous mathematician Sri Brahmagupta. He was born in 559 CE. Brahmagupta was lived in 7th century in India and many important contribution to mathematics and astronomy. The main contribution of the Brahmagupta was zero in the number system. His works were Brahmasha Siddhanta contain many mathematical findings. The book consists of geometrical theories like Pythagorean theory for the right angle triangle. Additionally, he also introduced the negative numbers. He was the first mathematician who provided the idea of cycle quadrilateral. He died in 668 CE. Thank you.
Hello, dear friends. How are you? I hope you all are fine and healthy. Myself, Malavika AS of 5E. Today, I'm going to tell you about one of the greatest Indian mathematicians. Here we go.
Srinivasa Ramanujan Iyengar.
Srinivasa Ramanujan Iyengar was an Indian mathematician who lived during the British rule in India. He was born in 22 December 1887. Though he had no formal training in pure mathematics, he made substantial contributions to mathematical analysis, number theory, infinite series, and continued fractions, including solutions to mathematical problems then considered unsolvable. Ramanujan initially developed his own mathematical research in isolation. In his childhood, he completed mathematical exams in the half-day allotted time and showed a familiarity with geometry and infinite series. Ramanujan was shown how to solve cubic equations in 1902. He developed his own method to solve the quadratic. The following year, he tried to solve the quadratic, not knowing that it could not be solved by radicals. He made great and original contributions to many mathematical fields, including complex analysis, number. In 1913, he began a postal partnership with the English mathematician G.H. Hardy at the University of Cambridge, England. Recognizing Ramanujan's work as extraordinary, Hardy arranged for him to travel to Cambridge. In his notes, Hardy commented that Ramanujan has produced groundbreaking new theorems, including some that defeated me completely. I had never seen anything in the least like them before, and some recently proven but highly advanced results. His major achievements are the fastest algorithms for calculation of pi are based on his series. Number 1729 is named Hardy-Ramanujan number. Do you know what is his Hardy-Ramanujan number? The Hardy-Ramanujan number is named such after an anecdote of the British mathematician G.H. Hardy, who had gone to visit Srinivasan Ramanujan Hospital. The anecdote is a part of Ramanujan's biography, The Man Who Knew Infinity, by Robert Nagar. Mr. Hardy quipped that he came in a taxi with the number 1729, which seemed a fairly ordinary number. Ramanujan said that it was not. 1729, the Hardy-Ramanujan number, is the smallest number which can be expressed as the sum of two different cubes in two different ways. 1729 is the sum of the cubes of 10 and 9. The cube of 10 is 1000 and the cube of 9 is 729. Adding the two numbers results in 1729. 1729 is also the sum of the cubes of 12 and 1. Cube of 12 is 1728 and cube of 1 is 1. Adding the two results in 1729. While the Ramanujan number is not his greatest combination, It is certainly a fascinating discovery that is easiest to remember among all of his discoveries. Ramanujan was fascinated with the numbers and made its striking contributions to the branch of mathematics, Partition Numerorum, the study of partitions of numbers. Srinivasa Ramanujan's birthday, December 22nd, was declared as the National Mathematics Day in 2012 by the then Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. This great intelligence and pride of India died due to his illness on his age of 32 on 26 April 1920. Hope this was an informative session for you. Wishing you a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you.